Module 10, Compay Mano and Comay Jicotea, retold by Joe Hayes, illustrated by Lucia Franco. Compay and Comay are short for compadre and comadre. If a man is godfather to your child, he is your compadre. A woman who is godmother to your child is your comadre. Since people usually choose good friends to be their child's godparent, compadre and comadre often just mean good friend. Compay Mono, the monkey, and Comay Jicotea, the turtle, were neighbors, and they seemed to be the very best of friends. Compay Mano was a hard worker. He had a fine little farm where he raised all sorts of good food. In the east, he planted pumpkins, and in the west, cassava. In the north, he raised sweet potatoes, and in the south, yams. Each day, Compay Mano visited every corner of his farm to pull up the weeds and make sure no harm had come to his crops. He was looking forward to a very good harvest. But just before the pumpkins were ready to be picked, Compay Mano noticed that someone had entered his field at night and stolen some. At least 10 of them were missing. Compay Mano was worried, and later that day he talked to his neighbor, Comay Jicotea, about the theft. "You'd better stay up tonight and guard your field," the turtle told him. "Stand there, on that little hill, at the eastern end of your farm," she advised. "From there you can keep watch over your pumpkins and see if anyone enters the field." Compay Mano followed the advice of his comadre. All night he stood at the eastern end of his little farm, carefully watching over the pumpkin patch to make sure no one entered. But the next morning, when Compay Mano inspected the whole farm, he discovered that while he was guarding the pumpkins in the east, someone had entered the western end and stolen his yucca. Compay Mano told Comay Jicotea what happened. "You must have fallen asleep," his comadre told him. "Tonight, let me guard your farm. The thief will probably enter the southern field this time. I'll stand guard there so that no one can steal your namyes." Compay Mano agreed, and that night, while Comay Jicotea guarded the yams in the southern field, someone stole the boniatos in the northern field. The next day, Compay Mano told the turtle what had happened. Of course, she was very surprised and sympathetic. "How could that be?" she said, shaking her head. "I never closed my eyes all night long. This must be a very clever thief." Compay Mano was beginning to get suspicious. He knew that Comay Jicotea had a reputation for being tricky. But monkeys can be tricky too, and Compay Mano thought of a way to find out what was going on. "Yes," said the monkey to his comadre, "there must be a very clever and dangerous thief in these parts. The next thing you know, they'll come into my house and steal my money. I know what I'd better do. I'm going to hide all my money up in the loft. No one would ever think of looking for it there." That night, Compay Mano lay awake in bed listening. Late in the night, he heard someone tugging at the door. Slowly it opened, and then in came the humpback form of Comay Jicotea. She headed straight toward the loft and began to climb the ladder. Compay Mano jumped out of bed and grabbed her. "You're the thief," he shouted. "You're the one who stole my pumpkins and my yams and my yucca, and you thought you'd steal all my money too? I ought to throw you into the fire." Comay Jicotea looked very ashamed. "You're right," she said. "I deserve to be punished, but it won't help me to throw me into the fire. My shell won't burn, and I'll never learn a lesson from that. You should throw me into the river. I'm terrified of cold water, but I know it's just what I deserve." As everyone knows, monkeys are afraid of water, and so what the crafty Jicotea said made sense to Compay Mano. He picked up the turtle, ran to the river with her, and threw her as far out into the water as he could. And of course, the tricky little Comay Jicotea swam away laughing to herself. To this day, Comay Jicotea sometimes comes out to sun herself on the bank of the river, but she spends most of her time in the water. She knows Compay Mono still wants to catch her and punish her, but she knows that if she just jumps into the river, the monkey will never dive in after her.